Good day everyone, my name is Mary Grace Ortega. Today, I am going to tackle the full history of Finland. Before I start, I will going to discuss what is Finland. Official name of Finland is Republic of Finland and official language is Finnish and Swedish. Finland country located in Northern Europe. Finland is one of the world's most northern and geographically remote countries and is subjected to a severe climate. Nearly two-thirds of Finland is blanketed by thick woodlands, making it the most densely forested country in Europe. Finland also forms a symbolic northern border between Western and Eastern Europe. Dense wilderness and Russia to the east, the Gulf of Bothnia and Sweden to the west. Next, I will going to discuss the experiences of the Finnish people before and after World War II. Finland during World War II, the Winter War happened by the Treaty of Moscow of March 12, 1940. Finland surrendered a large area of southeastern Finland, including the city of Viipuri, and leased the peninsula of Hinko to the Soviet Union for 30 years. Cooperation with Germany. After the Treaty of Moscow, the plan of Nordic Defense Union was resumed. The Soviet Union still objected, however, and the plan was thus abandoned. When the tension between Germany and the Soviet Union grew in the spring of 1941, Finland approached Germany but did not conclude a formal agreement. Nevertheless, Finland, like Sweden, after Norway's capitulation, allowed the transit of German troops. From the winter of 1942 to 1943, Germany's defeats gave rise to a growing demand for peace in Finland. This was signed on September 19, 1944 on condition that Finland recognized the Treaty of Moscow of 1943 and that all foreign forces be evacuated. The final peace treaty, signed in Paris on February 10, 1947, reiterated the condition of the Armistice Agreement. Next is the post-war period. After the Armistice in 1944, a coalition government was formed under the leadership of Juho Kusti Paasikivi. In 1956, the leader of the Agrarian Party, Urho Kokinen, who acted as Prime Minister a number of times during the period from 1950 to 1956, was elected President. When he resigned in 1981 because of ill health, he was succeeded by the Social Democrat Mauno Koivisto, who was re-elected in 1988. Next is domestic affairs. During the early post-war years, Finland's domestic affairs were marked by economic difficulties. Despite these obstacles, Finland quickly recovered. The rebuilding and colonization required to resettle the refugees, however, were such a drain on the country's economic resources that inflation could not be avoided. As a result, Finland had to devaluate its currency on a number of occasions. The War of Continuation began with a successful Finnish offensive that led to the capture of large areas of eastern Karelia. Some Finns were reluctant, however, to cross the old border of 1939, and the spirit of the Winter War that had united the Finns began to weaken from the winter of 1942 to 1943. Germany's defeats gave rise to a growing demand for peace in Finland. This was signed on September 19, 1944 on condition that Finland recognized the Treaty of Moscow of 1940 and that all foreign forces be evacuated. Next is Nordic cooperation. Finland became a member of the United Nations of the Nordic Council in 1955. These include free movement across the borders of these 5 countries, the gradual development of a common free labor market, and other similar measures in the fields of politics, economics, and culture. It left that organization in 1995 when it became a member of the EU. Tensions arose within the country when its Baltic Sea neighbors joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in 1999 and in 2004. How did they overcome the tragedy and improve the country? Finland's Recovery and Resilience Plan supports the digital transition with investments and reforms amounting to $50 million in high-speed broadband infrastructure across Finland. The plan envisages a $20 million support for streamlining work and education-based immigration and facilitating international recruitment. What major goods came from the country in Finland? Number 1 is electrical and optical equipment, machinery, transport equipment, paper and pulp, chemicals, basic metals, and timber. The political views. Finland is a parliamentary republic. The parliament, called Eduskunta, is the legislative branch of the government. It's led by a president who, along with parliament members, is elected by the public. The president appoints a prime minister to lead the cabinet. Which is the executive branch? The prime minister is the head of the government, but the president is the head of armed forces. In 2003, Finland made history with both president and prime minister were women, the first time that had happened in Europe. Their connections: Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and many more countries. Contribution to the world: 15 Finnish inventions that changed the world. We have Finland to thank for a lot of the products and used worldwide today. These Finnish inventions have made lives easier, safer, or more enjoyable. Number 1 is dish draining closet. It makes sense that a country with such a strong eye for design would invent this simple yet ingenious solution. In the 1940s, inventor Maiju Gibbard estimated that average household spends almost 3.5 years washing and drying dishes over the course of a lifetime. Dishwashers are costly and bulky, while side sink racks add to counter clutter. With that in mind, Gibbard set out to simplify the process with a practical design. The dish draining closet, or astian koivaskapi in Finnish, gaps in the shelf of the cabinet above the sink allow dishes to dry on their own storage, saving time, money, and environmental waste. The Finnish Invention Foundation has named it one of the most important Finnish inventions of the 20th century. Number 2 is electric sail, also called an electric solar wind sail or e-sail. The electric sail was invented in 2006 by Pekka Janhunen at the Finnish Meteorological Institute. It's a form of spacecraft propulsion that uses the dynamic pressure of solar winds as means of thrust. An electronic field is formed with small wires which deflect solar wind protons and extracts their momentum. It can be used for fast missions to planet Uranus, to study the sun at a closer distance, or other solar system explorations. The propulsion system could send a spacecraft to the edge of our solar system or the heliopause 3 times faster than ever before. Number 3 is heart rate monitor. The first wireless or EKG heart rate monitor was invented in 1977 by Sipo Sainajakangas, founder of the sports training computer manufacturing company Polar Electro, not having a way to accurately record heart rates in athletes. He conceived the idea for the Finnish national cross-country ski team to use in training. The internet Next is the internet browser. Well, internet browser, as we know them, the first internet browser with a graphical user interface, in other words, not just plain text, was invented by 4 Finnish students, Kim Nyberg, Timo Rantanen, Kati Suminen, and Kari Sindanmanlaka, for their master's projects at Helsinki University of Technology, called Airwise. It was released in 1992 but halted soon after the students graduated. Founder of the World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee, went to Finland and encouraged them to continue with the project, but it didn't have proper funding. Though Airwise is discontinued, it paved the way for the user-friendly web browsing we use today. Next is Sibonius wind turbine. Wind turbines are an important part of affordable, clean, and sustainable energy. In 1922, Finnish engineer Sigurd Johan Sibonius invented and later patented the Sibonius wind turbine. It is a drag-type vertical axis with wind turbine that can be used in areas with very turbulent wind coming from all directions. It uses 3 cup-like blades and it's much quieter than other turbines. Next is Fiskars scissors. You don't have to be a Finn to recognize the orange handles of the famous Fiskars scissors. After all, more than 1 billion have been sold, considered the most widely spread Finnish product. Their sharp performance, along with the ergonomic shape and grip of the handle, makes them more of a staple tool than just a scissors. The plastic handles were a more affordable divergence from the heavy iron that was used in 1967 when Fiskars hit the market. And those plastic handles, they weren't originally meant to be orange. The samples were produced with black, green, and red handles, but leftover plastic in the machine from an orange colored juicer needed to be used up. Then the color stock Fiskars employees voted on the final color, and orange won. Next is Rescue Tubugan. With Lapland being home to so much snow, it makes sense that the rescue tubugan would came from the Finland. The rescue tubugan takes the form of a pulk, also Finnish invention with vaulted ends that can be attached to handles as the name suggests. It's used to rescue injured people on snowy or icy surface. Oven skiers and snowboarders, also called ikyas. Rescue tobogans were originally used by the Finnish military in the 1930s. Next is safety reflector. Finnish farmer Arvi Lehti invented the safety reflector for use on his horse carts during long, dark winters. Now, pedestrians are required by law to wear reflectors when traveling in dark conditions in Finland. Countries that use reflectors have the lowest pedestrian fatalities and serious injuries, and it keeps bikers, joggers, and others on the road safe too. This is because they can be seen at more than 3 times the distance as they would be without a reflector, giving drivers time to slow down or move over. Next is sauna. The earliest versions of sauna in Finland are believed to be around 7000 BC. Finns would use the sauna to live in, eat in, bath in, and give birth in. And abundance would make them easy to build and maintain, and the harsh winters made the warmth of them popular. However, they are just popular in summer at cottages, where Finns will go from sauna to lake and back again. It's not just in rural Finland that saunas are used. There are 3 million saunas in Finland for average of one per household. Most apartments have electric saunas as the practice is viewed not as luxury but as necessity. For Finns, sauna is a way of life for physical, mental, spiritual, and social well-being. Next is Angry Birds. The famous video game was developed by Finnish company Rovio Entertainment and released in 1009. The premise is silly yet simple. Colorful birds try to save their eggs from their green peg enemies. The game was a huge hit for children and adults alike, leading to more than 12 million downloads from the iOS App Store. The game was called one of the most mainstream games out right now, one of the great runaway hits of 2010, and the largest mobile app success that the world has seen so far. Its popularity has led to the profitable production of merchandise, television, cartoons, and even a feature film. Next is Nokia. Though most known for phones, Nokia actually started as paper production company in 1865. Its name was derived from the Nokian Verta River in which the company was established. Before becoming an electronics company in 1960, the brand's most famous product was rubber boots. Today, the company is most associated with its early seemingly indestructible phones. Its success made it the largest worldwide company during its peak in 2000 and a source of Finnish pride. The company alone accounted for 4% of the country's GDP, 21% of total exports, and 70% of the Helsinki Stock Exchange market capital. The world's first GSM called 1990 xylitol. Xylitol. Even if you haven't heard a xylitol, there's a good chance you've encountered or consumed it. Primarily made from birch tree branches found in Finland, xylitol is an alternative to sugar used to prevent cavities, plaque, pneumonia, osteoporosis, and ear infections in children. It is found in many popular brands of chewing gum, candies, and butter substitutes. Next is ice skates. Ice skates were invented as means of getting around nearly 5,000 years ago in Finland, where there are more lakes per square mile than anywhere in the world. These ancient ice skates were made of bone. Propulsion came from the upper limbs, pushing a steam under ice between the legs, where the lower limbs were kept straight to provide balance. Next is Linux. Finnish inventor Linus Torvalds was still a computer science student in 1991 when he created his own operating system for his PC, and he made his brainchild universally available and free. It was licensed in a way that requires source code changes be publicly available, setting the stage for open source software. Nowadays, Linux is everywhere, and a machine likely running Linux has sent you to this web page. Linux can be recognized by its logo, a penguin named Tux. Last is SMS or texting. It's hard to imagine a world without texting these days. Mobile phones were originally intended for businessmen on the road, but soon ordinary people were buying the phones for personal use. Short message service or SMS was pioneered by Matti Makkonen while working for Nokia Networks and Tele Finland. He pitched the concept of text messaging over cellular networks in 1984 and helped get the ball rolling on the technology in its earliest days during the 1990s. Culture of Finnish people. Many Finnish cultural customs reflects its forested landscape, while other European culture historically viewed forests as dark and threatening. The Finns see forests as places of shelter and adventure. Today, many Finns have second homes in the woods to escape city life. Another popular Finnish tradition is taking sauna, steaming in a superheated room and then jumping into an icy lake. The country of some 5 million people is home to about 1.5 million saunas. Of the population has saunas in their home, and many big companies have saunas for their employees. Finnish saunas are almost always constructed with wood from birch trees. Finns pride themselves as being the global capital of heavy metal music. They boast more than 50 metal bands for 100,000 people. That's more metal bands for person than any other country in the world. The country hosts a number of metal music festivals every year, mostly during the summer. Belief of Finnish people. The largest religious community in Finland is the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Finland, to which about 70% of the population belongs. The Orthodox Church of Finland is the second largest religious community. The Evangelical Lutheran Church and the Orthodox Church enjoy a special status in Finland. In addition, approximately 2,000 Jews live in Finland. Approximately one-third of the people living in Finland do not officially belong to any religious community. The roots of many Finnish holidays lie in Christianity. The Info Inland page, Finnish holidays, contains information on the dates of public holidays in Finland.